how do I turn my ideas into my story? When I get these ideas first, what we do as writers is first we ponder, we think. During the process of thinking, that is how you learn, put everything in together to become a story.
Some people will just ask ChatGPT to write down a full book and they'll just print it out and write their name. Oh yes, I have written a book. So what would you say about this?
Honestly, it's unethical and you are clearly not a writer if you do that.
Hello, beautiful people of Nigeria. My name is Goodness Chinenye Uchendu. And of course, you all know you are watching Finding Your Motivation with Goodness Chinenye. And I have a very prolific and interesting writer in our midst, in person of Mr. Chidiebere Uchendu. Drum roll. Hello, Mr. Chidi.
Hello, Goodness. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chidiebere. So tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay, yeah, so Chidiebere, like you rightly said, is a prolific writer. Chidiebere is a published author. Chidiebere is a creative,
Amazing.
History lover, film buff, aspiring filmmaker actually, and I'm an artist.
That's a good one. So tell us, how has the journey been for you so far? When did you start writing? What motivated you to actually start?
Okay, so the journey of the beginning of my writing is not one that's too extravagant. I started writing in 2017. 2017 is a year I call my purpose year. You understand? Because it was that year that I discovered myself as a writer, and I just found out that it was my thing, my calling on this earth. You get? So I started writing online actually. Just between myself and a few friends, I was just writing some funny stories, posting it online. Something really unserious or serious, because it was stories about Sambisa Forest and Boko Haram and how Nigerian soldiers and everything defeated them. It was funny, but these guys, they eventually motivated me to push forth or to try to find this as a career path. And ever since then, I've started writing, and it's just been a career for me. But before then, actually, I've always loved stories, I've always loved to read, I've always loved books and everything, but that 2017 and those motivation from my friends became my own motivation.
Wow, amazing. That's something he said I really love, and I can't just sweep that under the carpet. He said 2017 was his purpose year. So that was when he realized that this is what he wanted to venture into. Amazing. So what books have you written so far? I'm sure about Crying Clouds, which is a very amazing story. You also tell us what inspired that particular book. So what other book have you written so far?
Okay, so I write a lot. I write a whole lot, but to put out like a body of work, it's only Crying Clouds that's the body of work that's out for now. So I'm still doing projects with some people, collaborative project, but I can't name it because it's not out yet. Okay. And it's not just my own project, so I can't really talk about it on this show.
So we should watch out.
Yeah, so you guys watch out. When it drops, I'll still say it on this show.
Noted.
For now.
Noted.
So other things that I write are just short articles, short stories and stuff. But my body of work that's out is only Crying Clouds, the book. And I am always careful of what I put out because I want to put out quality over quantity. And that's why it's just one so far.
True.
Yeah.
True. That's amazing. So in your journey of writing, what are some of the challenges you've encountered and how were you able to suppress all of these challenges?
Okay, thank you so much. The challenges of a writer are really numerous. Honestly.
I can imagine.
But top of my head, I hope I remember most that I faced. Top of my head, as a writer, writing is an alone activity.
True.
It's something you get to do on your own, and at the beginning I had to sacrifice a whole lot of things. There were a whole lot of activities that I used to do that had me, interact or mingle with a lot of people, but I had to cut them off just to focus on my writing. That's being alone and not doing all those activities. The process of creating your story, pondering, conceiving an idea down to facing your computer to writing it and everything is all an alone activity. So in the beginning of the career phase for me, that transition was really challenging, because I had to sacrifice connection with friends, with some family members too, and that's it. Then another challenge as a writer is writer's block. Actually, it's every creative experiences it. So that was another challenge for me too as a writer. That's one of the challenges I face.
Thank you very much for that wonderful and amazing answer. Okay, so let's take a few questions from some of our audience.
What keeps you inspired? What keeps you writing? What keeps you confident that what you're trying to write
What do people who want to go into writing need or require to actually begin creative writing? Like writing like an expert. What do they need to enter into that? How do they formulate their ideas? How do they probably document them and then bring up something that would be a book, a poem?
Okay, so let me start with the second question. Okay. How do I turn my ideas into my story? When I get these ideas first, actually I draw these ideas from a whole lot of things, daily experiences, reading other people's books. I get motivated, I get inspired to want to do something, to want to do my own or something of pertaining. Just random things, actually. This is what inspires me. And then when I get these ideas, what we do as writers is first to outline them. You get? So we outline them. When we outline them, we ponder, we think a lot. Then that is how, during the process of thinking, that is how you then put everything in together to become a story. That's that. Then for the first question, remind me again, please.
Okay, so how do you keep the flow of your inspiration?
Okay, how do I keep the flow of my inspiration? So I'm inspired by a whole lot of things, right? They're quite related. So I'm inspired by a whole lot of things, like I said, random things that happen. But what inspires or motivates me the most is the community. I feel like as an artist, you are supposed to belong to a certain community of artists, of creatives that inspires you. So I have like a creative group for young people, and it really inspires me a lot, you get? When I see what they're doing, in whatever they're doing. Some are poets, some are singers, some are writers too, like myself, some are filmmakers. I am so much inspired to just be in that space of my community people. That's one of like my biggest motivation as a writer. And then the drive to communicate these stories, because I feel my stories are tools, like it's a voice that I can use to change the world. I can use to describe, I can use to express myself, communicate a narrative, paint pictures, to a whole lot of people through entertainment. And that's what inspires me, Judith, as a writer.
Amazing. That's a really good one. Having a community, just being surrounded with people who are like-minded. That's a good one. So our final question, is it right to rely on AI tools such as ChatGPT to get your ideas, your whole idea? Because some people will just, ask ChatGPT to write down a full book, and they'll just print it out and write their name. Oh yes, I have written a book. So what would you say about this?
Trust me, I know a whole lot of people who do that. A whole lot of books on Amazon, they were not written by individuals, they were written by AI. Those are AI generated books. And honestly, it's unethical, and you are clearly not a writer if you do that. You are clearly not a writer, and it's even weird because you're using ChatGPT, you're using AI to write books that humans are going to read. Are you not supposed to write? Won't the AI write for AIs to read? Is that not how it's supposed to be? Then humans write for humans to read. Don't get me wrong, actually. I'm not saying that the introduction of AI or the use of ChatGPT for your book is wrong. You get? You use it for your research when you want to ask questions, when you need knowledge. You ask ChatGPT these questions and everything, and you could also use it for proofreading because it saves time, you get, and money too, you understand. It can help you proofread properly and everything. But the idea of downloading an entire book from ChatGPT and then putting your name there, it's highly unethical, and you are clearly not a writer. If people still think that you are a writer, you are clearly, and I'm very certain you are not a creative. A creative. Yes, that's
amazing. Amazing. So thank you very much, Mr. Chidebere, for this amazing segment. So what would be one or two encouragements that you'd like to share with people who are in the field of writing? And just tell us, how can one make money? How can one monetize this whole thing?
Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you so much, Goodness Chi. I'm super privileged to be here. So my final comments on finding your motivation. How do you find your motivation? Like I said, finding your motivation, your community is going to help you a whole lot. Another thing you need to do is, as a writer, and in this day or in this age, there's a whole lot of distraction. You get. So as a writer, or as a creative, it's really, really easy for you to get distracted by things you see on social media and everything. So if I want to advise any young person out there writing, I would say that you should love whatever story that you want to create. You should fall in love with it, because it's only when you are in love with that story that you cannot be distracted by any other thing. You get. So you have to fall in love with the story. Think about it every day, morning, afternoon, night, in your bed, you're dreaming about it. When you love it so much, there's nothing that can distract you from telling that story properly. Then another thing you need to do is research, a whole lot of research. You need to read a whole lot of books, see a whole lot of movies, learn a whole lot of things, because what we tell ourselves as a writer is that as a writer, you have to know something about everything. Because there's cases where you need to write about something that you may not be well equipped on, and it's that research that helps you. Sometimes you may need to write about science, about space, about Mars, or about politics, or about some other religion, tribes and everything. So it's that research that equips you with that knowledge. Research is another thing for writing. Another thing too is the God factor, actually.
Amazing. Yeah.
Me personally, I get a whole lot of inspiration from God. If you look at my debut body of work, Crying Clouds, the book, those interesting parts, the creativity you see in it is not just my idea, honestly. I drew it from God. So that's it. Your community, that's one. You need to love your story, that's two. You need to do research. Yes, thank you. Then the God factor too. Then the fifth one is, don't be a perfectionist. Don't wait until you create that perfect art before you put it out. Right? Because honestly, I'm just going to end with this. There's no such thing as a perfect art or a perfect writing. There is none at all.
Amazing. He said something very striking. There is no such thing as a perfect art or a perfect writing. And also the God factor. It is very, very important in anything you need to do at all. Thank you so much, Mr. Chidebere. He said something about being a perfectionist. This doesn't mean you shouldn't strive to do things exceptionally or try to put in your best in order to make sure it comes out good.
Right.
Yeah. But don't always beat yourself and say, until it is this before I let it out.
Exactly.
No. Yeah. So thank you so much, Mr. Chidebere, for that amazing segment. Thank you so, so much. That will be all for now and finding your motivation with Goodness Chinenye. Until next time, do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel in order to get more updates about this. Bye.
Bye.